Welcome back to the 52 Weeks to Wealth. My name is Walter Murillo. We've been on this journey through these wealth principles for 38 weeks now. This is Wealth Principle 38. And the reason we do these wealth principles is so we can increase our income and increase our time that we're able to do the things that we want to do. Everybody in this room, everybody who's been on this call for the last year is focused on doubling their income and doubling their net worth. Hands to the camera if that is true. If you are focused on doubling your income, doubling your net worth, awesome. And we're on a mission to build 100 millionaires who are inspired to build 100 millionaires. So this year at the 100 Millionaire Summit, we focus on a product called Mastery. Who here knows that every master was once a disaster? True or true? I love it. So Wealth Principle 38, before we dive into it, I want to share a quick little story on how I discovered this principle. It wasn't common sense to me. Who here, like when you hear the words, sell your product before you buy or create it, you think that's impossible? Has anybody ever thought I can't buy or sell my product before I create it? Okay, a couple people. Obviously, many of you have been here for more than 1 year. Who has been here? This is not your first rodeo. This is your second year with the 52 Weeks of Wealth. Awesome. Excellent. What about our monster veterans? Who is experiencing the 52 Weeks of Wealth for your third time? This is year 3 for you. The OGs. Awesome. Let's give everybody a round of applause. So I'm going to share my screen very quickly so that you can see all the beautiful PowerPoints I created with these 3 words. Millionaire Wealth Principle 38 is sell your business to buy before you buy or create the product. And sell your products before you build or create it. And when I say product, it could be service. Sell your product or your service before you buy or create it. Too many people in this business, we're in real estate, right? Hands to camera if you're in real estate. Real estate investor, real estate agent, wholesaler. Excellent, excellent. Lender. I see you on here, Frank. So we too often in this business will go out and work for free before we make any kind of money. Who here has ever said that before? Oh, I work, for free before I make any money. We lock it down, we invest, we are spending all this time and energy, and then eventually we make money if there was a client that wanted it, if we did a good job, and if we brought it to the marketplace on time. So some of those challenges can be beat by selling things, or at least presenting the sale and asking for money in advance. We call this pre-selling. Who here has ever bought something that was pre-sold before? A book or a video game or a ticket to an event? Absolutely. So we've all been in experience of pre-selling, and it's also something that like a business does for a good reason. It saves them a lot of challenges. There's a lot of benefits to it. So actually, before I go into the real estate examples, who wants to know how this ties into our business? Would that be interested? Anybody? All right, a couple of us. One, wholesaling is a perfect example of I don't own the thing, right? I haven't bought it. I haven't paid for it. I haven't created it. Somebody else created the product. I'm literally just testing the market to see if this would sell. Another example would be agent buyer contracts. Where my real estate agents at? Hands to camera if you're a licensed agent and you've heard of these buyer contracts. Well, these buyer contracts mean you're getting paid up front prior to the close, or you're at least getting hooked up with an increased commission on the back end of the close. Another example would be offering paid education. Who here is paid for some sort of education in the real estate space, specific to real estate? Excellent. So those 3 examples are people like that make money upfront prior to ever going through and deciding, okay, am I going to build this? In fact, the 100 Millionaire Summit is a perfect example of something that we pre-sold. If you think about it, there was no stage, there was no lights or sound when we put the landing page together a year ago. True or true? Hence, if that's like, you realize like there was nothing there, right? We had a whole year to plan, prepare, sell tickets. If nobody bought the tickets, we just say, hey, you know what, we're just going to push this to another year. Or we could decrease the size of the venue. We could decrease the amount of specialty that we brought to it. So there's a lot of different things that you are able to do as a entrepreneur that help you when you're pre-selling. The first time I learned this was actually from T. Harv Eker. I was at the Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, and then I bought a program called Quantum Leap. And then I got to this event called Train the Trainer. Brian Huffman was actually a train trainer already, right? Brian, you were there. We learned the same process. And the guy on stage was like, yeah, this is how we sell events. And I was blown away. He's like, I don't actually know what's going to be at the event. The way I build my event is I'm in a room and I'll be on stage. I'll be there with the whole room. Who is there with somebody on stage this past week? And who's at the 100 Millionaire Summit? Show of hands. Excellent. Who wishes they were at the 100 Millionaire Summit? By show of hands. Absolutely. But I'm mostly just talking to Felly right now. I wish you were there, Felly, but we're gonna get you there next year. So every single one of us was in the room watching somebody on stage who was presenting an idea, a concept, some sort of tremendous value, who received tremendous value from the weekend, just from the stage alone, just from the people on stage. Excellent. And then another value was the people in the room. There's so many people in the room. Now on stage, you probably noticed me asking the question, what are your biggest challenges? Who noticed that? I asked, what challenges are facing you? At one point, I had a whiteboard and I had somebody writing on the whiteboard, what are you facing? What are your challenges? And I also asked, what are your desires? What are you looking for? Who remembers the session? I was looking for answers to your challenges, answers to your desires. And the reason we do that is so that I can create a great product. Now, yes, I already had mastery designed. I already had it in my head, like designed for everybody. But during the Q&A session, I was ready to go and change the product. Does that make sense? I was ready to add more to it if I had to. I was ready and willing to go and make more adjustments. So we're at this event and the speaker comes out on stage and he's sharing with us how to be a great speaker, how to train people, how to educate people faster. And he says, so what I need from you is to play with me here. And he started asking questions. So saying like, what stops you right now from being successful? And we all shouted out, we don't have any money. Yeah, right. We don't have any deals. We don't have any experience. Or we've never spoken before. We've never promoted an event before. We didn't know how to do anything, right? So he's listing all those things. And then after he says, what are your goals? Why would you want to speak? What are reasons to speak? And so we started getting our inspiration. And I was thinking, well, I could help more people. Maybe I could bring more clients to my business as a real estate agent. If I go out and I market like this whole, here's how you buy real estate, maybe I get more clients into my business. And I also thought, like, who knows what it could turn into? Maybe I'm going to be raising capital from stage. I mean, there's so many values from learning how to speak, true or true. Hence the camp, if you could speak to 10 people instead of one person, it's a lot better. There's a more likelihood of conversion, people doing something with you. So I was very excited to learn. I'm telling him all this, all the other people are telling him these things. And wouldn't you know, on day 2, he comes out with exactly a program that solves those problems. Now, he said it to us on stage, and he said this to the assistants he had at the back of the room. He said, okay, guys, can you record this and take notes of everything I say so that he could actually be held to committing to it, because he hadn't actually built the product. He was building it right there on stage with us. And then he said, what if I did this? And what if I did this? What if I did it in this time frame? What if it was presented this way? And by the end of it, I was realizing, like, and he told us, he said, I'm going to go through this process and basically write down everything that you told me that you wanted. Hence, Karen, if that's a great way to create a product. And then he asked, what do you want to pay for? What would it be worth to you? How much would it make sense? And we gave him a number. And then he said, well, here's the price. This is exactly what you said it could be worth, and I'm going to offer it to you. That who's still interested? Hence the camera, see that we could do this, right? Every one of us can do this. Absolutely. So there's some reasons to doing it. So I'm going to give you today the 3 reasons to pre-sell your product, like why you should pre-sell your product. And this comes from every industry, like you name it. The only exceptions I'll give you are if it's a super competitive market and there's already a ton of competition in there, and like maybe in that case, it wouldn't make sense to pre-sell. In that case, you already have a proven concept. So number 1 reason is to align with your client's values. Number 1 reason we pre-sell is to make sure that what we're offering is actually in line with the people that we're working with. It also gives us feedback. When I say in line, I'm saying like we can put it out there, a product, and find out, is this actually something they want? If they're not clicking the buy button, there's a good chance it's not something they're interested in. Hands to the camera, if that makes sense. If you're putting it out there and your clients aren't buying, then we've gauged interest. When we did the business plan on day 3, who wasn't able to, who knows that some people in the room were not able to fill that final check bar out. There was like, I don't know. I've never tested the product on somebody. So there was a lot of people who were like, well, I actually don't know this data. That's homework, right? Go out and test with your clients. Would you buy a product like this before building it, buying it, or creating it? find out from your clients if this makes sense and get that alignment, because it's going to help you improve your product as you're going along the way. So that brings me to number two, the second reason. You can improve your product's effectiveness. Just by pre-selling and testing it, you can identify whether the person actually wants it to look this way or feel this way or operate this way, or if some changes need to be made. Hands to the camera if you've had to make some changes to your business or your product and services over the time you've been in business. Absolutely. And number three is minimizing your risk to the business. Some of us have to spend tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars in actually building our products and actually improving our products or getting them to the marketplace. So in order to save that, like reduce that risk, it makes a lot of sense to go and see, will the marketplace buy this? Remember, wholesaling is a no risk strategy, right? Hence, if you know a wholesaler, real estate wholesaler who's thinking about like, I do this because there's no risk, you have literally no money on the table. Maybe you're $100 for the signed contract. You have no money on the table in order to generate a business that could make you on a sale anywhere between 5,000 to, I've heard of wholesale deals that are, 250,000. Who'd like to nail one of those, right? No risk, just nail it at 250,000. Like, you've got to be in bigger deals to justify that. You're not going to make 250,000 on a house that's worth 250,000. True or true? We get this? It only works on bigger deals. You want those bigger commissions. There has to be the meat on the bone. And like for us, we see this as real estate investors. It's not easy, right? Every real estate investor is thinking, man, like I want to retire now. Like who here would love to have all your rental properties cash flowing, making all that money and be done with it, right? Like that's why we get into real estate. We want financial freedom. We want legacy. We want to be able to pass, this wealth on. We want passive income so that we don't have to work. So we can do, ready for it, whatever we want, whenever we want, with whoever we want. Who defines freedom that way? The ability to do whatever you want, whatever you want, with whoever you want. Absolutely. So we all have this theme in common, but we know there's steps. We know there's some things that we have to do, some actions that have to be taken. And a lot of times, and I think at the summit, we really pounded on heavily the network. Who felt that at the summit, that we really were speaking deeply on, you can have whatever you want when you have the people in your network that you can serve. When you get enough people who have the problems you're looking to solve, right? If you're looking to raise capital, the biggest problem your clients have is that they've got too much money and it's got to go get a return. And if you're in real estate, you got too much money and it's got to get exposure to real estate. Many times somebody sells a company, sells real estate, or sells stocks, or is way too exposed in stocks or crypto, and they just want to get a little bit more of that real estate hedge, that real estate safety. Hence, if right now, especially with the stock market down, that real estate's looking extremely attractive. It's just one of those investments that everybody is looking at saying, man, I wish I was more exposed to that right now. It seems to be doing very well, and all my real estate investor friends are crushing it. Even with interest rates moving, we can talk about that later on. All questions on interest rates and inflation, we can talk about that later. I did a nice talk about it on Friday night at the 100 Millionaire Summit. And then it was cool because some of the other speakers, we didn't really collaborate on this, but some of the other speakers just validated everything that I was saying about the market and where we're at. And you can make money in a market like this, and you should make money in a market like this. If you're not making money in a recession, in a downturn, with this much inflation, with interest rates rising, you're just not paying attention. You're just not building your network deep enough to get the deals. You're not building your network deep enough to go and get the money to do the deals. And this is my call to action for you now. Start now, right? Just start going out and building your relationships with people who have money, building your relationships with people who have deals. Wholesalers, realtors have deals, and then private investors have money. Hands to the camera, if you could make a commitment to buying the right real estate in this downturn. More millionaires are built in a downturn than any other time. So I'm glad that you're on board, because that's what we do. We build millionaires. And the easiest way to do it is in a recession. It's about educating yourself and taking the right actions. So there are a couple of steps to actually doing this. The first step, the 6 steps. So we're going to go through 6 steps really right now, really quickly. Hit the camera if this is valuable, by the way, learning how to pre-sell. Excellent. Okay, like I said, it works for any product, but especially works very well in real estate. First, find out how the market describes their pain points. If you're working with motivated sellers and you're looking to acquire property, you've got to know what their issues are. Is it death, divorce, disease, denial? Is somebody lost a job? It's finances. Is there somebody who is just looking to live somewhere else? Maybe they want to move to Florida. Hence, if a lot of people are moving to Florida. A ton of people moved to Florida during COVID, and a lot of businesses are moving to Florida just to get rid of taxes from Massachusetts and New York and Connecticut and some of these other states like California. So you're seeing a lot of people move. So there's reasons that property is being left behind. And right now, the baby boom generation is the biggest one. That one's coming, and they're going to be dropping a ton of real estate into the market. Find out what their challenges are. So step one is to find out how they describe their pain so that you can market to them, so you can build a relationship with them. Step two, well, I definitely, okay, well, it should be step two is, hold on, I put the wrong slide up here. Give me a second, my friends. While we're doing that, type yes in the chat if you know that this year you are going to crush it in a bigger way than you've ever crushed before. Just type yes in the chat if you know for sure that this year you will be acquiring real estate that you like in amounts that you had never considered possible for yourself. That is a yes. And so step two, I'm not going to be able to make the PowerPoint for you, but it is create a clear vision. The second step is to make sure that your vision is clear. In our business, we go and we build landing pages, or we do sheets. We do sometimes it's just a clear description of something, but you must make sure that you're able to clearly define, clearly speak, or clearly visualize what you're looking to sell. If who's been to a mall and outside in the food court area, they've got these little trays and dishes with food or ice cream inside them. Who's ever seen those before? That's another way to get clarity around what the product is. They're using taste. They're saying, hey, here, taste a little bite. Let me know what you think. Now, I don't know about you, but every single time, or at least 80% of the time I taste teriyaki chicken outside of one of those places, I either go and buy teriyaki chicken from that venue or the one on the side of it, right? Instacam, if you've experienced this yourself. It works. It's clear evidence that giving away a little example of something, or giving a clear vision of something, or in this case, a clear taste of what you're getting, is going to inspire a person to make a move, to move in a way that they might not have originally decided to go towards. Number three, determine the support level needed. So you're going to, depend upon how many you sell. By the way, we sold a product this week at the 100 Millionaire Summit. So depending on how many you sell, you were going to have a different staff level. So at the 100 Millionaire Summit, we weren't sure how many people were going to jump into Alchemist Mastery. So we were like really like concerned. We're like, okay, if 100 people come into this, we might be in trouble. Right? If 200 people come into this, we're going to have to really scale up everything that we've built and how we're operating. And we knew somewhere between that 30 to 50 mark was going to be absolutely easy peasy. We could do it with our current staff, and we were ready to scale up. Handsome, if you know you could do this in your business too. Pre-selling gives you some time. We made sure that the mastery program in many ways didn't start until January, but we also made sure the Jumpstart program started right away, because that's a piece of the program we already had in existence. Hands to camera if you can do that too. There's things that you already have that you can make as the front of your program or the front of your service. For example, real estate agents, you do a lot of coaching kind of upfront with your clients. True or true? There's like, hey, this is how you evaluate a deal. This is, how to, check out a property before you and I go to the property. Here's how you get your pre-approval. There's all these different steps. We used to do home buyer seminars, and we charge new home buyers to come in and learn the process. Hands to camera, if you know, that's a pretty good way to make money. Absolutely. And it's not the ticket sales that you make your money on. It's actually the vendors that are at the event that you make your money on. It's the lenders, it's the attorneys, it's the inspectors, it's the home insurance agents. All of these other people who want this same client's business have paid us, $2,000 to $5,000 just to be at a home buyer seminar. And Karen, if you recognize you can make some money this way, if you're a real estate agent, you can make money up front to collect. One of my biggest things from the summit was I was like, dude, you got to get paid to do your marketing, right? You've got to get paid to do marketing. Otherwise, you're going to fall behind all the other agents who are already getting paid to do their marketing, or somebody who's been in the business for 10 years, 20 years, who has a big database. Hence the camera, if that makes sense, if you understand, you've got to be able to pay the person who makes more from the marketing, or is able to make the most from their client, is able to acquire the next client. So if you can actually make your marketing profitable, you're going to do very well. So number three was determine the level of support needed so that you can make sure that you're able to deliver on a product. We always want to over deliver on something that we're offering. Number four, create a sales page. This is the next step to well, it's a step towards visualizing, right? It kind of goes back to number 2, which was create a vision. For most of us, a sales page for our process, for our product, our service is going to be a huge benefit. For the Alchemist Nation, right? Who here has been Alchemist Nation and has like had to go in and log into something, right? That sales page gives us your contact information so we can follow up and build a deeper relationship. So your business, your model, in fact, most cryptocurrencies have just a landing page. All it is, before they even offer their blockchain, they're like, here's what it's going to look like. Here's what it will do. It's going to solve, and then Mitch Jorsky knows what I'm talking about, all the world's problems right here in 3 different bullet points. And that's every crypto page ever. And they say, we're going to do this. We're going to get all these users. We're going to do this thing. And you just got to invest now. And you're buying a cryptocurrency that doesn't even exist. In many cases, you're just putting money into an account and you hope that that cryptocurrency actually comes to fruition at some point. It's the same thing with wholesalers, right? You get your property, and a lot of wholesalers are so behind in the times. They're so outdated that they'll just text you like, here's the numbers of the property. Or they a lot of them are so uneducated that they'd just be like, hey, I got a wholesale deal. It's a property is worth 250 and you can get it for 180. And it's like, dude, like I need more data. Hand scan if you like more data from your wholesalers. It's like, send me a picture. Like, can I get some information on this thing? So a really smart wholesaler will actually go and put it online. And we've actually recently released at the summit as our first release is Alchemist Properties. Alchemist Properties is now an opportunity where you don't have to build a landing page. We've got the landing page built for you, and it's got a built-in search engine so that investment buyers like ourselves, cash buyers, can just go on and sort through all the inventory of the properties that are on the market. If you haven't already checked out Alchemist Properties, you go to alchemiststation.com, go down on the left side, the tab, and just hit Alchemist Properties. And you can search the inventory that has already been uploaded. You see like properties are in Florida, and it's really cool because the biggest problem with wholesalers is their technology. Most wholesalers are just not tech savvy. Hence, if you know that's true. Most like wholesalers are just really good at finding the deals. They're not so good at dispositioning the deals. And for us to be like, okay, go build a landing page for every property, or go build a landing page of your properties would be just, it would stop every wholesaler dead in their tracks. True or true? Like most of them just don't have that ability. So this actually allows them to, allows you, if you're wholesaling, to already put your property out there and get this beautiful landing page. I'm not going to show it now, but you can go to alchemistproperties.net, or you just go to Alchemist Station on the left side. You can go and check out yourself. I revealed the whole thing at the summit, and I thought it was super cool because I got to release some technology. But the reason we do it is your landing page is going to show somebody what is involved. For coaches, trainers, speakers, go look at the 100 Millionaire Summit landing page. Go to I Build Millionaires, that landing page, and you can see like we're sharing a little bit of knowledge, information of why somebody should click on this thing that we're offering. Number 5, launch the pre-sale. Perfect example is a book, right? Like Michael Shine just launched his book this week at the 100 Millionaire Summit. You can now go buy it on Kindle, which, by the way, Mike, I know you've got a different book of the week, but can you just for a second share a little bit about your new partnership book? And by the way, everybody on the call right now, if you want to learn more about partnerships, go read Mike's book. Hands to the camera if that makes a lot of sense. Like he's kind of the best in partnerships. He's got all his businesses are partnerships. There you go, Mike.
Hey, so it's just kind of my journey with partnerships and the lessons I've learned. So that's a quick little summary. It's a lot of fun.
Do you have it with
and
you?
It also tells you not to it's somewhere around here. I don't think I can grab it quickly enough, but yeah, it's here. Yeah.
So at the 100 Millionaire Summit, we pre-ordered the book so we'd have it physically in hand. Actually, Mitch Jorsky pre-ordered the book, so let's give Mitch a big round of applause. Thank you, brother, for allowing everybody to have that cool experience of like seeing the product. Hands to camera, when you saw the book, you're like, oh my god, it's actually a real book, right? You saw it on stage, you're like, wow, that's actually a real thing. That's, by the way, going back to visualization, being able to actually hold something tangible. Even if there were no pages inside the book, it would still look like a book. And you'd be like, wow, okay, it's real, right? And then go order said book. Mike, what's the name of the book? If you can share with everybody. Title and subtitle.
Oh my God, you're killing me, Walter. I just woke up. It's 2 hours early. Give me 1 minute. How's that? I'll be right back.
Mike's coming back. He's gonna go get his book. Let's give him
Michael feels my pain.
So when we launch the pre-sale, we're usually saying something like early bird special, or get it before everybody else does, or jump in on our pre-sale. Who's ever who bought tickets to the 100 Millionaire Summit for next year already? Who's already like bought tickets? Who was in Mastery? Hence, if you bought Mastery, you got tickets to the 100 Millionaire Summit. And then some of you have already messaged us and upgraded to VIP because we made the VIP upgrade for anybody who bought into Mastery only $1,000. Right now, the early bird is $2,500. There's Mike. All right, Mike, share with us. Give Mike Shine a big round of applause. You're muted, brother. Let's get the unmute. Yeah, he's right. It's 2 hours earlier there. It's like 8:30 in the morning. He's absolutely dying.
Yeah. Fast track to millions, how to profit through partnerships. And the reason we titled it that was because it really accelerated everything I was doing. Walter was talking 5 to 7 years or maybe 3 to 5 years. And suddenly through Alchemist Nation, I started getting into partnerships and it just accelerated everything. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, tells my story, but it also tells you what red flags to avoid and also what green lights to go through. So yeah, the book. Get it on Kindle right now.
Let's give Michael Shine a big round of applause. So I love seeing a pre-sale, a pre-launch of the book. We're still working on the actual cover and making sure the cover's all right and the inside script, like making sure the manuscript's right. But we can sell the online version. And Scam, if you know, it's a version of pre-selling. It's already like bang, you can go buy it online right now because it's already available in that form without having to spend any money. Well, you would have to spend money. We wouldn't have to spend any money. Number 6, close it out and collect the feedback. After you've done your pre-sale, by the way, I'm going to give you a perfect example. I love this. Who remembers the recession proof challenge? Who's been a part of it already? Hands Scam, if you've done the recession proof challenge. Awesome. So the recession proof challenge, all it was a landing page. It was literally a landing page. And then once people started signing up, me and Andrew started building the course because we had 2 weeks. We gave ourselves 2 weeks to pre-sell the course, make sure that it was something that people were interested in. And then once we realized the 2 weeks were like, people were like, we had, I think 70 people sign up in the first 2 weeks. Hands Scam, if that's a pretty good response for a course. We thought so, especially for like a course that's never been run before, beta test. So we had 70 people show up and we said, man, we got to go do this. And we made it a 30-day challenge. I was talking to Andrew this week and he was telling me, he's like, I think we could cut it down to 21 days. And now that we've run it 3 times, we understand some of the gaps, some of the challenges, some of the opportunities, and we think we can more efficiently teach the process and get everybody going in 21 days. Hands to the camera if that's a pretty cool rendition. Like one of the benefits of pre-selling it is we got an idea of where our audience was. But one of the other benefits of actually running it was we were able to collect a lot of feedback. We were able to get a lot of information. And when you pre-sell, like you'll start getting people asking you questions. Who here's already asked us bought Alchemist Mastery and started asking us questions immediately right after? And Scam, if you bought Alchemist Mastery, then you're like, I still got some questions. So all of that feedback has helped us with the development of the product. All of that like information that people have sent over has now, our alchemists, right, are letting us know how we can improve what we're already sold. Hence, Karen, this is a cool process. This is like something you kind of think you might be able to do. You can kind of implement this a little bit. Let me tell you, like I got Melanie Santos on the call, right? So she's going to be a billionaire because she's going to buy Subways. And she and I were talking about it yesterday. By the way, I sell my coaching for $100,000 a year. I don't offer it to anyone, but I really like Melanie and I like Greg LeBlanc. And I might have offered it to one other person this year who's going to find out that I offered it to them. And Melanie jumped in and she jumped in the year before, she jumped in this year. And like I give Melanie a little bit of a discount. Because she's just a badass. I almost get more from the conversation than she gets. But Hands Cam, if you know, like that's a feeling that you can have too with your clients, that sometimes you're getting more from them than they're getting from you. And like we were on a call yesterday and we were on, like my calls are only supposed to be 30 minutes with these champions. Like that's all it is. I'm like, hey, I'm taking 2-3 people on. We do 30 minutes a week. Last night we were on for an hour and a half. And it was just so powerful because her and her husband, Steve, were like on the same page. We were masterminding and we really built out a solid plan on how they're going to go and do this acquisition of Subway within the next 3 years. And that sort of thing only happens when you're able to get feedback from your clients, when you're able to actually talk to them and like listen to them. A lot of us are like just kind of like high volume. Anybody ever consider like running the business, like never want to talk to anybody? Anybody ever like just bounce across your mind? You're like, man, I would love to just make money and not have to see anybody, talk to anybody. Am I the only one? Natalia was like, I love my people. And they love you, Natalia. It makes a lot of sense, right? So like getting the like pre-selling subs, right? Like I was telling Melanie yesterday, just an idea that I would love to see done in the business as she's acquiring them is she has the ability to do catering. I don't know if you know this, but Subway does catering, right? So like you can actually sell catering a month in advance. If you know 4th of July is coming, man, start selling now, right? If you know 4th of July is going to be there, be selling in June, be selling in April, and getting all of these people lined up for their events. Save them the time, save them the trouble, because it also helps you know how much you got to order. You know how much bread is going to be needed, how many sandwich meats and lettuce and tomatoes, and I love the little banana peppers. Can't you ever put those on a sandwich? Like makes the sandwich way better. Yeah, absolutely. So like priest and my brother. Oh my god, my brother's gym, not gym academy. Who got to meet my brother at the 100 Millionaire Summit? Was that cool? Got to see him backflip on stage and then front flip off stage. Like it's like he doesn't know how to walk normal anymore. He just has to always be doing something in the parkour fashion. So my brother, like he was there, and one of the things that he did to improve his business was birthdays, right? He sells birthdays in advance, right? He takes a down payment in advance. Sometimes he takes the whole sum up front. Hence, if that's a good month, right? You just bust your butt selling the summer birthdays early in the year. You've made income earlier on. There's so many ways to do it. I've given you a bunch of different businesses, and I want to stay focused on the real estate side because I know most of us are in that. We got Natalia and Mike Shine. These are attorneys, right? You can pay an attorney. I just paid an attorney, a retainer, right? Like these are different ways that you're in your business able to get money without having yet had to deliver a service. Thanks again for catching this. Like there's so many ways to do it. And if you haven't implemented it in your business yet, this is the week to do it. We do the 52 weeks to wealth, not just because I love seeing each one of you, not just because you get motivation or inspiration from doing these calls, but also so we can take massive action towards doubling our income, doubling our net worth. If you can get paid up front, that means you could actually spend more money on marketing to acquire the next client. If you can get paid up front, you could also improve your product. There's so many benefits to learning this process of pre-selling. And before we jump into the Q&A session, I just want to say to everybody on the call that I am so impressed with your success this past year. I'm so impressed with how many of you consistently show up, how many of you are dedicated to bigger goals. By the way, I'm like blown away by the text messages that me and the team receive on where you're looking to go. Whatever we ask the question of like, what are your goals? What are your challenges? What are your desires? I'm like blown away by how big everybody is thinking compared to when we first met. Hence, again, if you've noticed your mind has expanded since first meeting us and coming to the 52 weeks in Alchemist Nation, give yourselves a big round of applause. That is 100% a result of you. It has nothing to do with us. All we're doing is what we do anyway, right? We build millionaires. It's our goal. It's our life mission. And the fact that you're showing up with that desire and then leveling up your desire, who got the millionaire contract at the 100 Millionaire Summit? Like the fact you're showing up with that desire and you're showing us that desire and then you're implementing it at the 100 Millionaire Summit. We had something called a millionaire contract. And on day 3, it was the very, very last thing that we do, because I know a lot of people leave early. Those are the people who don't need a business plan, right? They leave early. They're like, hey, I'm all set. But I do the business plan on the very last day in the last couple of hours, because it takes the whole weekend to get us there. It takes the whole weekend to really open up and put the plans in place. And the last thing I do is the millionaire contract. And what one of our new mastery members, he actually just joined mastery, is said to me was Gary Gluck, who is a veterinarian by trade, but he flips veterinarian offices and he makes a lot of money doing this. Hans Camp, he knows a lot of money in pets. I had no idea. I had no idea how much money pets are worth more sick than not sick. It was the craziest thing. If you got pets and you paid the bills, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So he actually takes these non-performing vet businesses, buys them, and then sells them for like 5x return on investment. Answer the camera if that's a good idea, because he's good at it anyway, and he's like solving a problem. So he what he shared with me was on his millionaire contract, he actually changed it from millionaire because he's already a millionaire. Who saw our millionaire award ceremony, by the way, at the 100 Millionaire Summit? Saw the millionaires on stage get their awards. Let's give, by the way, all of our millionaires a big round of applause. And for everybody who's blessing them and their success, there's a good chance you'll have success as well. Because if we bless somebody's success, we want to see their success and we're proud of their success. That means when we become successful, we gain the thing we're seeking out. other people will also be proud of us, supporting us, and glad for our success as well. We don't want to carry any or harbor any negative energy around the idea of success or other people's success. So if you see yourself ever judging somebody for their success, stop. That could be what's stopping you from getting yours. Hence, Karen, if that makes sense. Why would we ever go after something that we don't energetically feel good about? So make sure you're blessing rich people. Make sure you're experiencing their money and their success in a way where you're like, it almost elevates you. Just knowing that they could do it means you could do it. So he wrote down, he changed the contract. Right. By the way, who knows you have permission to change your contracts? You could always make adjustments, pre-signing, pre-negotiations, right? So he changed the contract and he said, multi-millionaire. Like he set the goal of I'm going to be a multi-millionaire by this time next year. And then signed the contract and went through it. And I know I saw a post on Alchemist Nation. Thurman has been reading this contract every single day. And I assume it's because he recognizes the power of those words, the things that are on it that actually are designed to move you forward, designed to help you get through everything that you're doing. Now, it's a contract with yourself to become a millionaire. Hence, Karen, if that's already like, you already know, like, shit, I signed a document. I got to go do it now. The other thing that we found was the plaque. People are excited about. I was blown away by the millionaire ceremony. Not just by like knowing each person's story, but by the feedback from the future millionaires in the room. Everybody was like, man, like I'm ready to do it just to get the freaking plaque. Like that was something I'd never expected. The hype around like, I will become a millionaire just for the plaque. Mike, if I'd known, I would have started the plaque 3 years ago and we started all this. One of the first thing I did, plaque, millionaire contract. I would start with those two things. Because the millionaire contract, I pulled it from the fitness community. And the fitness community has proven that it increases by signing a self-contract, it increases your likelihood of success by 20%. And I know that how you do anything is how you do everything. If it works in health, it works in fitness. If it works in health, it works in wealth. If it works in relationships, it works in wealth and it works in health. Hence, Karen, if you notice that too, right? If you just take action, if you just do the right things, you'll find your relationships better. You find your body is better and you find your money is better. So this contract came from a place that could increase your likelihood by 20%. Shoot, like use it, leverage it. These are great tools. So Mike, every week we have a book of the week. Every week we go through and we review something that has been beneficial for us. Part of pre-selling is the ability to storytell. Part of pre-selling and be able to present your offers to people is the ability to run through what we call the hero's journey. You know, hero meets a challenge that they have their normal life. Then who here before the summit was at home, before they flew on a plane, got in a car, you're at your house, right? So that's your average world, your normal world. You understand that space. And then you're at some point, you get told that there's an opportunity. And usually in every story, every movie, the hero says, no, I don't want it. That's not who I am. I'm not that guy or I'm not that gal. And then something bad happens in your life or something shakes you up or somebody comes into your life and is like, come on, let's go with me. Let's go do this thing. And you decide, okay, second time, you're like, I'm going to accept the call to action. And then you fly into this spiritual world or this spectacular world, this totally different place. Who felt when you're at the 100 Million Summit, it didn't feel like a normal conference room, right? You were transported to another dimension, another world. And so then you're there, and in that world, you meet these people. And in every movie, the people are either your challenges or they're your friends, they're your allies, they're your mentors, they're your guides. They're all these people that you meet who now become allies and that you become familiar with or affiliated with. And then as you're going through, you end up like with your team now, you start like going through these processes. Who had some processes you went through at the summit with us? There are some processes you did, especially on day 1, day 2, and then day 3, we built our business plan. So you now are going through these trials and these journeys. And then at the end, well, not the end of the hero's journey, but the next step is you actually go into what they call the dungeon, right? The final dungeon, the final layer. You're fighting the final boss in a video game. And this is where you're faced against like uncertainty. Like you're faced against like, man, I don't know if I can do this, but we're committed. We're going all in. And for many people, that was, I'm going to buy real estate this year. I'm going to become a millionaire this year. I'm going to do whatever it takes to double my income or double my net worth this year. And that was like that final like decision, because like Melanie said to me yesterday, she said, success really comes, and that's my Melanie voice. I'm so sorry, Mel. I didn't even know I do that. So she said to me, she said, success comes from decision. She said, in everything I've done in life, I made a decision to do it. And the decision was quick and it was like, instantaneous. And then every day, all I do is like agree to that decision, right? Like it's just the decision is made. And then I just take the actions towards that decision, because the motivation level, like Ron talks about in MDARS, the motivation level got high enough where a decision had to be made. It was life or death. It was like, I'm going to just be this person and nothing else is going to stop me. Hence, can't you ever been there before? You made a decision and you just change instantly. And then from that day forward, you did different actions. You thought different ways. So that's that final boss. But then right after that, usually the hero faces their mortality. Usually they're faced with some sort of thing where they either die and then become resurrected, or remember Neo in the movie The Matrix, he ends up, dying, coming back, or like you could think of every Disney movie ever where somebody is on the floor dying and somebody's got to either kiss them or drop a tear on them. Hence, if you've seen these scenes, it's like every movie ever. So this is part of the hero's journey. And then there's the road back home. And so, yeah, usually it's either road back home and then, death, resurrection, or they switch that around. But you, like at the summit, kind of have to almost kill the old self and move forward with a millionaire mindset, right? You have to be like, I no longer own any of the words like I can't, I try, or I should, or I don't know how. Like all of those different things have to die in order to become the person who says, I will do whatever it takes. The person who says yes to the right things and no to the wrong things. And that new person now lives a different life. Hence, Cam, if you've already felt that in your experience. Absolutely. So part of the journey in selling is being able to communicate this in a sale, being able to tie this hero's journey into the sale. And at the very end of the hero's journey, they return back home with the elixir. This is how they say it in every book, and how it was originally laid out by the originator of this concept. Is the elixir is, you're now back to your people and you have changed. You've come back home and people notice a difference in you. They notice the way you're thinking is different, or you have a skill set that is different or new, and you're now able to serve the people you originally left in your ordinary world. Remember, Bilbo Baggins came back and he was like totally a chill guy with a whole bunch of stories. Who's watched Lord of the Rings knows what I'm talking about. The Hobbit. My nerds, my people, I love you. So like this whole concept, when you're telling your story in your product, like think about your client as the hero, and then thinking about your product or your team or your group or your company as the guide that they meet, that person that they meet who guides them along the way. Your hero is going to have to go through all these processes. Who felt it this weekend? You were on a hero's journey. You actually went through all of these steps. Absolutely. You can do it. And like I just explained it very quickly in about 7 minutes. You can explain this in your landing pages. You can explain this in your conversation with your clients. You can explain it in your webinars, in your one-on-ones. This is a story that sells. Now that I've pre-framed all of this, Mike Shine, the holistic attorney, the keeper of the books, the closer, can you please deliver the book of the week?
Sure.
Mike, a big round of applause.
You actually did a great explanation of this book already, but it's Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller, and it's a great book for your small business, and it basically has a story brand framework. That's what I really like. It has 7 steps that you can use and implement. I love books where you can just take what they say, put it like a template, and do it with your business. And so in this one,
Mike, you got muted.
Muted.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. You have a character, has a problem, meets a guide, gives them a plan, and calls them to action that helps them avoid failure and ends in a success, which is basically what Walter just said. So, but what's awesome about this book is it just solves a problem. And really what it's attacking is the fact that there's so much noise out there in the world. And so Donald Miller's like, you have to simplify your message, or it won't get through to people. I mean, Walter says this all the time. He says, a confused mind says no. And really that's what this is doing. It just gives you a system that you can implement to get the simple message that you have out. And it's doing it with stories. And as you all know, I love doing it with stories. And I'm surprised, Walter, that you didn't do the story about pre-selling in the dark days of Fall River, which became what? Names on Deeds, or it became
Names on Deeds.
Yeah. Tell that story. Anyways, that's the book of the week.
Let's give Michael Shine a round of applause. Who's interested in hearing how Names on Deeds became? So there we are in Fall River, Massachusetts, in the dungeon of the 10-unit building that I had just acquired. This thing is cash flowing above us, but downstairs was a storefront that me and Ron, we're not commercial investors. Like, we're commercial residential. We're not commercial retail. So we had no clue what to do with this unit. And Ron and I said, why don't we just bring our group there? Why don't we just start meeting a group? Like, we'll just bring everybody there, because we used to meet at my real estate office. And so we made the shift. And Mike Shine used to drive 40 something minutes every single week from Rhode Island all the way down to Fall River just to be a part of this wholesaling boot camp, is what we created, called it a wholesaling mastermind at the time. And on stage, I'm there, well, not on stage, literally like in the kitchen, essentially, of this building. I'm there and I'm offering to everybody. I'm asking everybody in the room. There's like 30 people in the room. And I'm asking, what are your problems? What are your challenges? We're all real estate professionals who came here to learn wholesaling, but I'm discovering a lot of you have different desires, different things that you're looking to learn. And they're like, okay, like, this is what I want. 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 And Mike Shine was like one of the wealthiest in the room, right? Besides me and Ron, like, his net worth was already $1 million. So we were like, okay, like, I'm listening to my higher net worth people in the room. Hands to camera, if you know, that's how I put my offers together. You might want to take that lesson as well. So Mike's telling me, he's like, how do we find the money to buy the next deal after we've already deployed all of our funds? How do we find the money? So I'm highlighting, I'm in red letters, like taking the things that Mike is saying, and I'm making them a little different from what everybody else is saying. Like, everybody else was like green, blue, black, but the same things Mike's are saying, I'm just like, I'm throwing them in red. Right? Nobody knows this. Like, nobody knows that I have this code in my head. Hands to camera, if you know you can do things like this, and nobody's gonna notice it. Like, but I have this little code of why I'm switching colors. And at the end of it, I'm like, I tie it all back in. And I'm like, okay, so you want to learn how to buy real estate without using your own funds because you've already spent all your money. You want to acquire real estate, maybe through like amazing deals with like a 20% discount, because I used to talk about the 20, right? Buy 20% discount, and then 20% appreciation, 20% rent increase. And, over time, you end up with having 60% equity in your portfolio. So Names on Deeds was just an idea on a piece of paper. Then I asked everybody, I said, well, what would you pay for this? If I did it in how would you like it delivered? Would you like it if I did it in a 1 day or a 2 day or a half day? And I think at the time, everybody said 1 day. Everybody said, we'd like to come back for, 1 day and do this. So that was my first 1 day event sold to investors, because previously I've been selling 1 day events to real estate agents. I used to call it agent alchemist, and, really hard to sell anything to agents unless you're like actually handing them leads. So we ended up we stopped being an education company. We shifted over to being a lead company because we were just following our clients' demands. Hands care, if that's like something you could do too, like, you just be flexible, whatever they want, sell it to them. Like, just go find it. Names on Deeds. It was just a bunch of things written down on a board, from polling our room, from paying attention to the people we really wanted to serve, and we knew had the money to go and pay for things. We're like, okay, like they want it bad enough. They've got the funds to go to that next level. Let's serve this group. And before you know it, like, now Names on Deeds is a workbook. Names on Deeds is a course on Alchemist Station. Names on Deeds is a t-shirt, right? Mike's got the t-shirt on. It became our whole brand of what we do, just from reaching out to a small group of interested, invested avatar, like people who were exactly who we want to continue working with. Thank you, Mike, for suggesting that, sir. Let's give Mike Shine a big round of applause. He was there. He was in the room. So I want to open it up to questions, comments, shares, ideas, or things that came up to your mind. Or if you're having any challenge with pre-selling or thinking about how to pre-sell, this is a time to ask the questions, so that if you don't believe it can be done in your business, definitely ask us now. I see Thurman's got his hand up. It has had his hand up for a little while. So Thurman, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, before I ask my question, I just wanted to say thank you for the 100 Millionaire Summit. It was freaking awesome. Thank you to Terry, Doug, Mitch, Huddle King, and and all the awesome people I met. But besides that, one of the things I was wondering is, so you didn't mention like how to come up with the price point when making this pre-sale. So I was just kind of curious, like, what was what's the reasoning behind it? Because I even noticed at the summit you threw a number on the board, and then once time came to actually sell it, you had a different number. So I was just kind of curious, like, what's your thought process for making your offer, like with the price point?
Excellent. I love that question. Who would be interested in learning what the process is behind the price that we put out there? It goes by supply and demand. Like truthfully, I'll go down as low as I believe I can do it and still be somewhat profitable in the beginning when I first beta test anything. The first, beta test or rendition of anything, I'm looking for the maximum volume. With the mastery program this year, I put it down to the absolute bare bones minimum of what is just over the profitability point. Next year, it will be more. That's part of what we learn as we go. Like as I'm identifying, did I mess up on how light I sold this? Should I have sold it for more? Okay, like we'll know like what to put it at. And we've already spoken to the team. And I know right now we're going to be shifting it up to $12,000 because that 10,000 point was I doesn't give me enough to pay commission to a sales team. And scare if you got to pay your people, right? So being able to pay a sales team, I like to pay a 30% commission, 20% goes to the initial affiliate, and then 10% goes to the person above them. So that's important to me that I'm able to scale out my sales team and give them a profitable reason to do this. So starting next week, so this is the last week you can get mastery at 10,000. If you were at the summit, if you were not at the summit, I'm apologizing in advance. You should have been there. It's just like you can jump on a call with a salesperson or a Millionaire Path consultant and like go through it and see if it's right for you. But everybody at the summit, we know it was right for them because they took the time to show up. They have the network now that they built there. It's really designed for go-getters who are about this community. So price point wise, like Thurman, a lot of it comes from me asking the room right there in the moment. Like the last thing I ask after I've listed everything is I start saying, well, how would you like it delivered? Would you like this in a book? Would you like this in a blog? Would you like this in a workshop? That's where we start making money, is in a workshop. Would you like this in one-on-one coaching? That's where we make more money. Would you like this in a mastermind? That's where you get that top level money. And so we just pitch like, what would be the best way for you to receive this? Who's interested? We go by raised hands, by caliber of interest. And then I'll ask like, what would that be worth? Once I know the delivery model that they're looking for, then I'll go into the price. What would that be worth? And if I don't get enough people at the high ticket product, like the mastermind, they can't afford like a $25,000 mastermind to be in a group like this, then I'll shift back down and say, instead of a mastermind, what about a group coaching session? Maybe that's better than a mastermind. And that's something that could be more affordable. Hence, Karen, if you're catching this, you could always pull back the products, like how involved you are with it and how in depth it is. And then maybe it's just a one-time workshop. I love one-time workshops. I don't have to charge much because I'm there one time, I'm hitting everybody at once. And then, especially if it's virtual, if it's a virtual workshop, I can charge less. I don't have a hotel or a venue to worry about. So when I want to hit a larger audience, I will find a product or version of the product that is less. And then when I want to hit a more tight, more focused audience and go a little bit deeper with them, I'll do a higher end product. So it really will come down to testing out your audience with those price points. On the question, I said this at the summit on day 3, the question is, would you buy this product at this price with this? After hearing the pitch, after hearing the offer, would you buy this product, service, program, opportunity? And once you gauge that, if you get a whole bunch of yes, but not at that price, well, to change the price. Or yes, and that's an amazing deal, you might have to increase the price eventually. But I would take the money first and beta test the program and get some testimonials, because testimonials will increase your price no matter what. Once you have some people who are talking about it, it will give you, 1, confidence, and it will give 2, other people confidence, be able to watch those videos or listen to those audios or read those testimonials from other people. Social proof goes a long way, especially for me. Like I jumped into a mastermind, it's $25,000. And the only reason I jumped into it is because like 5 guys that I wanted to connect with were in the mastermind. I was like, all right, like I want the relationship with that guy. Another guy told me about it. And like 3 other guys told me I should get into it. They were like, where you're going, what you're doing, you need to be in this thing. And they started telling me who's in it. I was like, oh man, like I'm an idiot for not having gotten to this last year. Where's this been my whole life? And if you've ever been there before, you got into a program, you're like, where has this been my whole life? Like, maybe it's just created now for you. Let's give Thurman a big round of applause. Thurman, does that help the question?
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. That's very detailed. Thank you.
You're welcome. And to answer, so if you don't have an audience or anybody to ask these questions to, do it for free. Like do something for free. Like we often talk about like the National RIA. like the, TB RIA is an event we go to, or Boston RIA is an event I used to help run. You go, I still help run. So those are ways for free attention, free audience where you can gauge their interest. Doing virtual events, doing Facebook groups, doing a post in an existing Facebook group with your avatar is a great way to gauge interest. If you get no likes, no comments, no people messaging you, you might not have hit the mark. I'm assuming it's an active group, or assuming like people actually show up to the room. If only one person shows up to the room, not a great gauge of interest. That's just a one-on-one sales conversation. Hands if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So free, anytime there's an audience at the 100 Millionaire Summit, right? That was a room with over 200 people. That's a great place to go and test a product. Hey, I got this deal. This is a deal. I've got a property in Pennsylvania. Who wants it, right? You go around the room like, would you buy this? Well, if it wasn't in Pennsylvania, okay, like location. Where do you like to buy, right? Or, well, yes, the numbers work. I would like that if it was in my market. Okay, cool. The numbers work. At least that's the confirmation that the price is right. Hence, care if this is valuable. We can all apply this to our businesses. We can all apply this to what we're doing, our investments. Awesome. Let's give there one more round of applause. Appreciate you, brother, and welcome to Mastery. I've said it a couple times. I'll say it again. I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to it.
I got you, bro. Got it rep.
Represent. The point is not to work; it's to generate income.
Yeah.
It was who noticed? Oh my god, I love this. Who noticed at the summit that it was very, very cold in the room on day two? Day two. So on day one, we weren't making sweater sales. So I went to the team. I said, ice the room. I wanted to feel like the Arctic fucking tundra in there. And by day three, I was wearing the sweater because it was freezing cold. Takes the hotel a little while to figure out how cold I really want it. But that wasn't actually the reason. The reason we freeze the room is to get everybody to pay attention, is to help your mind stay more alert. If it's hot and warm, you start falling asleep. And last year we had the record. I only had one of these last year, and I was wearing it because the room was ice. The room was cold. And so this year we made sure that we ordered a whole bunch for everybody. Hence, if you got one of the sweaters, the point is not to work to generate income. Sweater, yeah. We know that we got to ice the room, but we also know now, thanks to feedback from last year, that a little bit of customer service would be to offer sick sweaters that look good in pictures. Hence, if you get playing the game, right? The longer you're in it, the more you know how to serve and play. Awesome. What are the questions, comments, shares from pre-selling or concerns about pre-selling? Like, I don't know how to do it. I don't know if my product's right for it. I don't know. I don't have a program that's right for it. This is your chance. Go ahead, Vincent. And Vincent, I see you at the gym, man. I recognize that giant fan.
It's not on pre-selling, but I have a question. How do you stay focused? Like when I got back, I've had a bunch of different opportunities presented from me, but they're all in different fields.
I love this. Who here has also noticed from the summit, so many opportunities, so many people reaching out to you, so many like deals and offers and relationships and partnerships. That was, by the way, one of the warnings, Vincent. If you remember before the summit, I said, make sure you're super clear about what you want to create for yourself this year, about where you want to go. That way, when we get to the summit, we can build those right connections. And so right now afterwards, it's the same exact thing. So one of the rules that Warren Buffett gave us, and I think everybody should adhere to, is stay in your lane. Like, invest in what you know, and you know for sure. Invest what you have a deep understanding on, and you'll do a much better job at choosing the right investments. Hence, Karen, if that makes sense. If you have a good understanding, you'll know the pitfalls to look for. You'll know the benefits to look for, and what it should be providing an ROI for you. And then the other one, Vincent, is this is a powerful question I ask myself every day, every time an offer is presented to me. And when I came back from the summit, brother, I had like 300 text messages, and I still haven't quite caught up. I've got like 38 left to get through on my cell phone. So if yours is one of them, I promise I am getting to everybody. And all of these were like, I've got this deal. I've got this offer. Can you check this out? Would you be interested in investing in this? Hey, I see that you invest. Have you gotten into this crypto or this stock? Or I got stock tips like you wouldn't believe. And you have to go back to, this is the question. Does this move me in the direction that I'm looking to go? Does this move me in the direction I'm looking to go? Is this something that is going to distract me, or is this something that's going to move me forward? does it move the needle, like Vinny Chopra likes to say? Like, does it move the needle? Does it get me, a little faster on the gauge? So I would look at them. And Vincent, if you're in mastery, man, you can shoot me any text, shoot me a message, and we'll take care of you. If you're going through any of those challenges, and you're one of those people who I know we're going to the next level with, because I've seen your net worth, I've seen where you're at and what you're going through, and how hard you work. And look, you're in the gym right now on the 52 weeks of wealth. Let's give Vincent Peters a round of applause. Absolutely crushing it. So if you need any help with evaluating some of those offers, some of those deals, I am down to support. I'm down to help you guys, and especially you, Vincent, because you got shoulders that I'm looking to hit goals with. So
Thank you.
Also when we're talking about focus and staying focused, one of the biggest things that I found is people are not paying attention to what their vision was or why they decided to do what they're doing. And what happens is the shiny object or the fear-based bounce or whatever happens, we start to splinter off and everything looks good because we're not actually using the filter of our vision. We're not using the filter of our mission. We're not using the filter of why we started in the first place. So you got to go back to where you started and really identify, does this line up with where I was going in the first place? And it's really easy to say, yep, this does. Nope, this doesn't. And it takes a lot of that overthinking out.
Thank you, Dr. Terry.
Vincent, key secret: wear a t-shirt of your goal. Every time you look in the mirror, you're like, oh yeah, that's what I'm doing. Does this build 100 millionaires? And if you don't have a t-shirt made, go make a t-shirt. Super affordable. It takes almost no effort. You don't even have to be a creative graphic design artist. Like, this was our original version. I just typed it into the website. I just typed it in and they sent it to me. So I know you can do this as a way to motivate yourself. Get a cup, right? Go online and build a cup that says what you want to do. And talk to your girlfriend, talk to your kids, like talk to your family, get a little feedback on, be careful with your family. But you know what I mean? Talk to people who support your goals. Talk to Alchemist Nation, right? Like, talk to any one of the coaches and just like see if, will this get me to where I want to go? Is this what I want to accomplish in my life? But mostly ask yourself, spend some retrospective time, like internally, just figuring out, is this where I want to be? What specific goal do I want to accomplish? And then now you have a filter. Now you have clarity. Does this moving forward? Does it not moving forward?
Thank you.
Hell yeah. Let's give Vincent Peters and Dr. Wager a big round of applause. Doug, you spoke at the summit this year. Your process, your Dickens process, I had my camera crew come over to me and ask if they could be a part of Dickens this year. I had all of our volunteers, all of our sales team. They asked, can I be a part of Dickens this year? I had the audio guys and the sound guys. They like, can I be a part of Dickens this year? Hands to the camera if you know that process was really cool. What Doug does on Saturday mornings is like totally epic. So Doug, can you share a little bit of why it's so powerful and why so many people are interested?
Sure, yeah. Well, it's always an absolute privilege to be part of that experience, and really, it's one of those few times that we go very counterintuitive, because usually we do as much as we can to avoid feeling any discomfort, any pain. And that's really that 100th of a second difference that could take us to that next level. So the whole idea behind that and why it's so powerful is just kind of taking a forensic, looking at what happened in the past, what I focus it on resourceful or non-resourceful states. How many of us sometimes feel fear? Okay. The rest of you are not raising your hand. You lie about other stuff, but you may not call it fear. You call it stress. Maybe something mild concern. Yes.
I'm not afraid of heights, guys. I just respect how the body handles falling from high distances. That's all.
Exactly. Yes. But all too often that little state difference to, what Terry talks about, checking your emotions and running that filter. It is a fantastic strategy to get present to what non-resourceful states and emotions have been present, how they showed up, how they affected you, how they're still affecting you. And then ultimately, if you don't change, Because the truth is, most of us will do more to avoid pain than to gain pleasure. We're just wired for it, neurobiologically speaking. Our pain sensors outnumber our pleasure sensors by 10 to 1. So when we give ourselves that gift to play full out and get uncomfortable and get weird, I think, I don't remember who said, I won't, I know I do remember, but someone had said, oh no, I'm not going to do the process because it's too, it's too touchy feely, it's too weird, it's too emotional. And that's the story that we tell that stops us from doing everything. So yeah, beautiful. Lee was asking what the incense was, and then shared the dying of the old self. Yeah, so that was to your point you were sharing earlier, Walter, as well. It is to cut off, to sort of kill off some of those old behaviors, the old parts of us that were no longer serving us. Now we could go down a whole other pathway on, how those parts came up and the purpose they serve, and they're there to protect you, and it worked at one time and doesn't anymore, blah, blah, blah. But the truth is that when we take control, we're able to live at the cause rather than the effect by taking full personal responsibility of how we show up. And that process is very, very powerful for that. And lead to that question, it was frankincense and myrrh. Frankincense and myrrh, everybody.
Christmas incense. Let's give Doug McGurk a round of applause. I got to point out what we do at the summit is super unique. So you'll notice we use the lights to lock in memories. I move your seats to lock in memories. We have scent to lock in memories, because one of the challenges when you're doing an event that's only 3 days, you have all of this information like packed together. And a lot of times people will leave the event and be like, man, I'm so hyped up. But then they don't have like the memory of the things, and they'll look at their notes and like, I don't even fucking remember writing any of this. Hands cam, if you've ever been one of those, you're like, shit, like what was I saying? Like what notes were this? So what we use is NLP. We use triggers, anchors, and hooks, and ways to, so every time you smelled that incense, you knew you were locking in a new memory. And on day 1, we changed all the lights in the room. Day 1, the lights were red. Day 2, the lights were blue. Day 3, the lights were green. So that each day was, you can remember subconsciously, by the way, this is not a conscious activity, but subconsciously your mind feels a different progression. It feels like it's a different day. It doesn't feel like the same day when you're walking back into the room. Hands cam if you noticed that. You felt like you were there for more than just 3 days. It felt like you were there like a week or a month, right? Like all of this constant change. By shifting you out of the room and then bring you back into a different state, like, and then using the sense and using the different music states and the different activities, the high fives, the standing up, the shifting your chairs, all of this locks in your ability to remember the information that you're taking in. It is unique what we do, and we wouldn't be able to do it at this level if it wasn't for, Doug and the amount of talent and time he spent with Tony Robbins and with T. Harv Eker, teaching their courses and learning their programs and serving on such a high level. Our stage presence and I think a lot of it comes from his days as a rock star, back in the day when he used to work in the music industry. So there's a lot of things that are used so that you can remember and retain, and most importantly, take action. Like Terry's always saying, taking action, the ability to take action, driving towards action, getting on wow, what did I say? What was the name of the train, Terry? Bullet train of success, bullet train of action. Hinske, we'll take one more question.
Don't forget.
Oh, and Mastermind members, we are meeting today. So everybody who just joined into Mastery, you're getting an email, you're getting a text with your link to the Mastermind. So that is Amy's raising a hand. Is that no? Today is the Mastermind, right?
This is the last one that we're having for the people that are already in the program. So theirs will be starting next month. Their first call is going to be at Monday night at 8 p.m. And I texted them all yesterday to book a one-on-one strategy session with you.
Excellent. If you haven't booked your one-on-one with me, everybody in Mastery, now's your time to send Amy a message to get the link. I'm certainly not putting that link out on Facebook. So anybody who's in the Mastery program, find out from Amy what the link is. You can send me a text. I'll send you the link. But let's make sure your one-on-one strategy session is with me, taken care of. We're going to be building the roadmap for your business for the year. So I need you to please do not fucking call me from a car. You must be in your house with a notepad and a pen and be able, and like no kids around. Like, I don't care if you got to duct tape your kids to the door or put them in the bathroom or like do something so that you have this moment, because we are going to be going deep with a strategy that I'm going to ask you to commit to for an entire year. Hand scan if you understand the importance of this call. Excellent. There will be no distractions in this call. If you do get on and I see your car like window driving, I will reschedule the call with you. I'll give you a chance to reschedule, but I will not be on the call with you. Does that make sense? I only want your undivided attention so I can deliver on a high level. Excellent. Thank you.
So to restate, recap, and
yourself.
be clear.
Yep.
Today is mastermind for last year's group, not this year's group that's just starting.
Correct.
And
Yes.
VIP ticket holders. So anybody who bought VIP tickets for the Summit 2022, they are in the mastermind. And the next one, the first one for the new students, new group will be, what are we looking at? So December 3rd. Yep.
Excellent. So thank the women for, let's give Amy and Darina both a big round of applause for making sure all the logistics are correct. So everybody in Mastery knows, and everybody who is considering jumping in, it starts Monday with the Jumpstart. And the Jumpstart will be giving you each week on Monday, we're gonna do this for the next 8 weeks, an overview of how this program works. We're gonna be building some assets each week. So you're going to want to be at every single one of these. If for any reason you cannot be there, please let us know in advance. And we're going to make sure that over the next 6 weeks, you're specifically going to be building assets. In the last 8 weeks, we're going to be tied into what Doug will be teaching with speaking and building your ability to communicate your message properly. Hence the camera, if you know, it is all about communication with others. You recognize that is the high leverage component. That is the value. All the money you want is in the hands of other people. I assure you. If you look around your house, check for any money that you want, see if it's there. You may find, $20 in the pair of jeans or $100 in the pair of jeans. But after you've looked and searched everything, recognize that the truth is that all the money that you want, especially if you want bigger money that you've never had, is in the hands of other people, which means communication. Anybody trying to get rich who's not talking to people is practicing, is in effort and practice of frustration. It is a painful process to try to get rich without communication with others. Hands to camera if you recognize that's true. Yeah, all the money you want is in the hands of other people. Learning how to communicate with them, even better, learning how to corral them together and support them in a big way. So like you have their goals in heart at all times and you're able to create products from that is the secret. For us building millionaires, I only recruit people who want to become millionaires. Hence, the 52 Weeks to Wealth is designed around wealth-focused, impact-focused, heart-centered, family-oriented people who care about others and also want to build wealth in a positive, ethical, moral, legal way. Hence, care if you agree, that's you. Excellent. I knew we were in the right room when we started the call. So you've got a lot going on. He made some big commitments for this year, and everybody in the mastery program, we are committed to you in a huge way. The team is ready to operate, and I am the first step. I am that conversation to make sure that the roadmap is implemented throughout the year. If at any point something changes in the roadmap, I am also the first person you must notify. Hence, care if that makes sense. Because there's a chance that we're not going to change the roadmap, that we're just going to stick to it because it makes a lot of sense. We've done this. We've been building millionaires. We had 30 billionaires that we personally built walk across the stage. So trust the process. It does work. You can do it. It is easier than you think, and it will be harder than you think. But I assure you this, it will absolutely be simpler than you think. Who knows the process of becoming a millionaire? Who knows the simplest way to do it? Buy a $5 million property for $4 million using other people's money. It's that simple. Easiest way to become a millionaire, buy a $5 million property for $4 million. $1 million net worth. Hence, if you know it's possible. Absolutely. You do like Ron and I did, we bought a $2.5 million property for $900,000. $1.5 million, one transaction, fully funded by other people's money. If we could do it, you could do it. True or true? Hence, if you know, if we can do it, you can do it. Absolutely. We've just got to get you to believe that. And we've got to get you to find, attract, draw in the people, which we're going to show you how to do that. Go ahead, Lee. I see your hand up.
Thank you, Walter. So I am so blown away by everything that I've heard today and over the weekend, and I'm still like floating on a cloud somewhere. But I have to ask you, how do you find that $1 million property? Like, where is it? Do you go on auction.com? Do you do like the telemarketing calls? Do you just look for sale signs? How do you find it?
You're gonna love this answer. I don't know if you'll love it, but my network. I just dig deep into the network. I reach out to people who have deals, right? So Amy the other day said she wants to become a millionaire. She wants to do it by the end of the year. So she wants to own at least $1 million worth of real estate by the end of the year. She said, "What market do you want to invest in?" I said, "Cleveland, Ohio. I love that market. I would totally invest in that market." And she's like, "Okay, how do I find the deals?" I said, "Property managers. Call all the property managers in Cleveland, Ohio right now. And I guarantee you somebody's going to have a deal. Somebody knows somebody, because every property manager has the first right of refusal to sell the property as a listing agent. So somebody's going to have something." But lo and behold, she's connected with a bunch of wholesalers through this process. Some of the property managers are wholesalers. Some of them are investors themselves. And we've got an offer on 20 units right now that we're just waiting for them to give us some due diligence, and the offer will be in the mail. Like, literally, it's all written, just ready to go and sign. So, Leah, it is as simple as either connect with somebody, a partner who's going to go do all that work. Like, I chose to connect with a partner to do all that because I'd rather serve you guys and let somebody else go and build my portfolio with us, and then reach out to property managers.
Thank you.
In fact,
Awesome.
Greg LeBlanc is doing that now. We just scored a whole bunch of property managers in Massachusetts, and that's our new strategy for him, because he wants to do the same thing, 100 units. So it's just reach out to all the property managers in Springfield and fire away. See who delivers what we're looking for. Go ahead, Julie.
Walter, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Can you guys hear me?
We do.
I just wanted to give you a heads up, when we go to meet, because I am a mastery participant. So we'll be discussing some more things around emotions, which I think get overlooked, with a lot of female faces on the screen. And being taught by all you wonderful guy coaches.
Men have emotions too. So we're clear. If you're not rich, it's your emotions stopping you from taking the right action.
We see, and that's the thing, identifying is this coming from an emotional standpoint, versus
yes. The answer is always yes.
Pulling the trigger.
Yeah, Julie, the reason everybody on this call is not a millionaire is because emotionally something is wrong. It's not a man or woman thing. It is literally every person on this call. If you're not a millionaire, it's because something in your emotion set is not set properly, which is why we leverage Dr. Terry so heavily.
I think that's if you've been around here for any time at all, generator coaching is all about emotion set, action set creates mindset. It's all we talk about when we're looking at inner game. And so if you think, or if anybody has this idea that we don't talk about emotions enough or we downplay them, it's the key for anyone to move forward, to getting their emotions right, because our emotions are the trash on the track.
Yeah. And so, Julie, the marketing is not emotional. If I went out and said, "Hey, we're going to fix your emotions to get you rich," nobody would fucking show up, including the women. Like, nobody would show up. But what I say is I'm going to teach you the tactics on how to teach you the millionaire wealth principles. That's attractive. The work we do is the emotion side. And you're a perfect example of somebody who's taking on the emotions, asking, does this serve me? Does it not serve me? How do I want to process this? And you're taking massive action. That's why your son's been investing. That's why you've been investing. That's why your business has been growing. So Julie, great.
Should I give you an example of something
Absolutely.
that you guys can say it's emotionally driven or not? Because I've been flipping this year, and I've done, I'm actively managing these 2 projects. And my fear is I'm gonna get on the phone with you, and you're gonna be like, "What's the game plan for the next year?" And I haven't made that firm commitment to flipping, because I'm finding that although it's helped me utilize my creativity, it's not giving me that rewarding enough feeling. I'm not making a change at a level that is reaching me, enough to keep me in the game, if that makes sense. So changing one house in one community is not enough for me. It's not feeling like it's enough. I need to make a community change on a higher scale, if that makes sense. Is that emotion?
That is logic. So like you're looking at, does this make sense, right? Does the strategy make sense? Which is why you and I are going to sit down on the roadmap. And I want everybody on the call to be aware that when we sit down on the roadmap, I don't care what your plans are. I'm going to build you the fastest path to become a millionaire. That is what I set out to do. And that is the plan. So I'm going to ask you to be open to maybe letting go of your current plans if I find and identify they're not serving you, that you're bouncing up against an ineffective wall. And we're going to look for the fastest path, the most streamlined way to get you to reach your goal. So flipping, it depends on the market. It depends on your skill level, depends on how you're doing it. There's a lot of things that will depend, factors. That's why I can't really give a generic approach on this call because there's still 43 people here. But in the roadmap call, in that one-on-one strategy session, just be open to, like, I need you to be, the only thing I need, I'm going to use that 4-letter word, is for you to be super clear on your goal and your intention to become a millionaire. If you're super clear on that goal, then I can build the plan for you and I can get you there. And then I may even, if you're looking to increase income while doing it, or you're looking to quit your job while doing it, we can have that conversation or that discussion as well. But the path that gets you to $1 million will be different from everybody else. They're not all the same. Hence, if you recognize you're different, you're unique, you're in a different market, you got different height, you got different skin color, you got different voices, eye color, like you got different likes, you know, none of that has anything to do with your success. But what will have something to do with your success is what you are willing to commit to, what I can get you to do. Does that make sense?
I think when we really look at what's going on with us, with our strategy, what we choose, one of the biggest things, and I talked about it when I spoke at the summit, I talked about the idea that a lot of times our goals come from what we see everybody else doing. And we choose a goal and we start doing it and we start to get excited about it for a minute, but the excitement starts to dwindle. And that's an emotional thing because we actually were looking and scanning what everybody else is doing, and we decide to do something logically that other people are doing for money. However, it didn't align with our emotions and it didn't align with what we're really desiring to do. And so we got to step back and go, wait a minute. Okay, what do I really want? Why do I really want it? And get into the emotions, because our why lies in our balanced emotion. It doesn't, our why doesn't exist up here in our thinking. That's where we start to question all kinds of things. And so we got to get down quiet and listen to the still small voice inside and really identify what we really truly want, why we truly want it, and what kind of difference do we want to make.
And can I just also add, we also sometimes have to remember the timeline conversation, because if we're comparing ourselves to someone who's been doing something for X amount of years and it looks like they're making it happen overnight, we forget that it takes time to get that momentum, to get that stuff happening. So the change that you want to occur, your emotional relationship with the time could also be something there may be some challenge with alignment, because we want it quickly. We want it as fast as the other person. And, you know, like when Walter says, oh yeah, you know, you find a $4 million property and you sell it for $5 million, you make $1 million. Well, yeah, that happens quickly, but it may have taken him a bit of time to build the contacts to find that $4 million property. So that investment of time, of energy, some people will start getting a little challenged around, or we may get overwhelmed by. And that's why these groups are so powerful, because they will support you through that. Like, hey, you're 3 feet from gold. Just because you don't see it right now doesn't mean it's not there. We need to keep moving forward. We have the opportunity to keep pushing and have the people on the other side going, I was there too. I struggled. I was building my network, and you know, it was one of those magic moments where all the pieces fell together because I'd been at it for a year. This is a true story, and it doesn't just kind of share on a side note. I did a record with a girl 20 something years ago, and she wanted to be an artist, and she had a spec deal with the company we were with, and I produced her record, and this is going back 20 some odd years. This is for actually a few artists. They're still doing it, and they're just now starting to get some of the breaks that they wanted. And to Terry's point, when we're in alignment, it doesn't matter what it takes or how long. Can you speed it up? Yes. What she didn't do probably is align herself with people to support her more effectively. So it took her a lot longer, but she never gave up. So when you do the work here, you get the alignment, you get your real purpose behind it, the why, and you understand the lag time that's going to be there, and you don't take it personally, and you don't beat yourself up, and you don't allow your emotions to suck you down a path that then stops you from taking those actions. It will fall into place, and it's the magic. You never know. It'll happen. It could happen overnight after doing 3 months of phone calls.
I
Perfect.
think one of the things that is really important when you think about the emotions and controlling them is you want to identify those emotions that are getting you down, the feelings of inferiority. You want to identify when you're feeling invalidated, or when you're feeling like you can't do it, or when you're feeling pressured. Because if you identify those, you can actually step back and then go, okay, who do I need to talk to help me to let go of this pressure? Who do I need to contact or connect with that has the skills or has the knowledge that I need, so I don't feel inferior? Too many times we try to beat the feeling and control the emotion, and we can't control it even the same as we can't control somebody else in our lives. We have to have the relationship with our emotions, identify it, and then seek help from other people to move through that situation that triggered the emotion, so we can be our best all the time.
Absolutely true. And Ron said something to me in the chat. He said, "We are all unique." I said, "I am unique, just like everybody else." Let's give Ron Bowling a round of applause. Coach Ron, not a coach Bowling. He's got wisdom from the other side.
Ron, not ordinary bowling.
And he's invisible.
Exactly. And then Thurbin, as far as
As a
my
Halloween
schedule goes,
costume
I have commitments after 6 every day of the week. So if there's there may be a time on Saturday that you could do, I will check my calendar and see if I can open up a Saturday for you. So thank you for letting me know. Shoot me a text, and if you don't see a time, I just couldn't do it on this Saturday because obviously mastermind,
Yeah.
and I got to make sure everybody's okay.
No problem. I'll reach out to you. Thank you.
Awesome, excellent. Let's see. Any other questions? I'm probably going to go have lunch. If you notice, there is now a big shiny object in the back of Dorina's camera. That is a pole. That is a pole that extends from the ceiling to the floor. Now, that is not a fire escape pole. That is not for us to, if there's a fire, we can't like go down into the basement. That is literally an exercise pole that not just stands there in the kitchen, it spins. So I'm either going to go and have a blast, or I'm going to realize I'm not good at this at all. So that is now my lunch routine, is to go and see if I can do absolutely anything on that pole that Dorina, by the way, has taken classes on and actually knows what she's doing. So let's give the Russian Princess a round of applause. She got a little gift when she was away this weekend. So I made sure I installed that. So when she came home, she was like, "Whoa, this is so cool." All right. So I love, like Doug says to us every time he's hanging out with us, and like he said to us at the summit, I love you for who you are. I love you for who you are not. For everybody's in Mastery, we will see you Monday night at 8:00 Eastern Standard. For everybody who's in the Mastermind, has been in the Mastermind all of 2022, I will see you in 30 minutes. Go get some lunch. Make sure you're sitting down, you're fed. If you got appointments, let us know so we can make sure that you go first. And for everybody else, everybody who's not in the Mastery or Mastermind program, I just want you to feel the FOMO and let you know I have a blast with these people. These are my tribe. These are the ones that I know are making moves forward. If you're interested in joining, I totally get it. I understand. It is a great experience, and it's also a great tool that we use to leverage and move people forward. You can have a conversation with one of our Millionaire Path consultants, or if you have Dorina's direct contact, you reach out to her or Amy, and they'll make sure that you at least understand what it is and how we could get you in. We do not let money be a challenge with getting into the Mastermind or the Mastery program. We will figure out something that works for you. Hence, Karen, if that's cool, if we're nice enough to figure out like the process. Because here's what I know: once you're a millionaire, you're gonna go build millionaires. So there's a process to this. So thank you for your commitment to yourself. Thank you for your commitment to this community, to your family, to your tribe. And if you want a 100 Millionaires award, if that's the only reason you decide to go after this, cool. Thank you for your desire to have a sweet, sick plaque on your wall. Cheers to your success. We have a choice. Always work with the best.
The best, the
See you
best.
next week.
The bless.
The bless.